Good morning. Good morning. We get to do our free coaching today. I'm like so very, very, very excited. Just double checking that everybody's online. We've got people in the waiting room. Is everyone finding the link? Double check my messages from my team that we don't have something crazy. Like, is Heather on? She's our like admin girl that makes sure things are running. Let's see. Gotta sit on my foot. So fun to have people coming on. I'm actually gonna just go drop this link into the group. Friends, if you want to be on live, come on Zoom. Hey, Serena. This is a rare opportunity where you guys get to come on Zoom with me so we can do coaching. Be coached live. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm tuning in from Idaho Falls, Idaho, where it is 27 degrees and snowing with a winter weather advisory until Sunday. Yay! That's why I have my Christmas sweater on. So good to have you all here. Okay, so in my post, well, let's just do a little introduction. So Robin Whitworth here, facilitator of the Elevated Mother Experience program, the Solid Ground Mastermind, and the creator of the Elevated Mother Collective, the Elevated Mother brand, blah, 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 blah. If you're here, you've probably watched my welcome video. And today we're doing something called live coaching. We've done this just a couple of times in the past. We're looking to do this more in the future where you get to come on Zoom. You get to be coached live. And we're very, very aware that this is something that not a lot of other coaches do for free for you. And our aim is to serve. Our aim is to have you be able to get coaching, experience coaching. And obviously, if you're loving it and you love having this kind of support, that you will consider coming into our space and being part of the Elevated Mother Experience, where you get to learn to exercise your faith a little better, clear the mental mess a little bit better, gain your agency back, choosing the life that you want. And huge shout out to my team. Again, I shouted out Heather. She's like messaging me like 6 a.m. this morning, and she's like, did you have that Zenlink thing? And have you figured that out? And we're making sure. She's just so good. She's so good. So shout out to Heather Shoemaker. She's on here. And if you know her, just know that she is incredible with support. Great support. I see I have Cherie on here, who's one of our specialists. She's incredible. Reach out to any of these people if you have questions about our program. So I talked in my post, just jumping right in. Since sometimes when we've done this, we've had a document to go from. People put specific things in a document. And this time we don't. And so if you're on live, if you have something to be coached on, please drop a 1 in the chat on the Zoom chat. Open the chat in your Zoom and put a 1. And then I'll know that you have something specific you would like to be coached on live here on this free coaching. But I did mention in my post that I wanted to coach on a little bit of this thing that we get constantly from our top clients, you guys. And I say that because some people feel like being emotionally attached to money and money outcomes is something that isn't right. like if I have an emotional experience with money, I'm not doing things right. I need to be fixed. And I'm like, no, it means you value money. You value and understand that money is a currency that flows, that allows for choice. That's the way our world works right now. We've created this little symbolism of these numbers that say what choices I make, right? And so when you're making these kinds of choices, if you have a lot of emotional up and down, it's because you value that experience. Interesting, right? And that's okay. It's really great. It's really, really great to see that. But our top clients, they'll come and into our energy, and I'm coaching about money. I'll be coaching about how to shift your money set points. These are things we do in the Elevated Mother Experience. We learn your money story. And our top clients have big money stories. Money touches their emotional experience, the way they're experiencing life in a big way. It's like a pillar for them because they're women of excellence. If this is you, just know that's why you're in our space. They're a woman of excellence that believes she can have choices, believes she's going to change the world somehow. She wants to contribute. She's like doing the work. She's read some books. She's maybe been in spaces like Tony Robbins or Brene Brown, like these different things, right? She's a woman of excellence. These are the people that come into our space. You and the Elevated Mother Collective is here. Hey, Katie, you can come on live. I see her talking. If you want to get on the link and come on live on Zoom with us, you sure can. And so having a money story, everybody has them, but our top clients have a bigger story around the money because they're a woman of excellence that wants to contribute, and she sees that money flow as something that's affecting how she can contribute. Is everybody with me on that? Have you felt that? If you're on this call, I'm guessing like you're like, oh yeah, that's why money gets me sometimes, because I want to do big things in the world. I want to change the world, right? Who's with me? Give me a yes. Give me a thumbs up. Something from the people here. I know we have people that are not on their camera. I would love you to be on camera if you can. I recognize, I mean, if you're like going to the bathroom or something, don't turn on your camera. But a lot of the things that I want to just do this little tangent really quick, because a lot of people come into our space having been in other coaching spaces, and they can be shocked by our realness. That you'll see people, I show up sometimes in my tank top just being done from a workout and sweaty. You guys are lucky today. I've been showered and I have deodorant on and everything. So if you can smell me through the screen, you're having a good day with me today. But we are moms that created a program for moms. You might see little ones running in the background. You might see us at work. You might see us walking through the park with our dog. Like, we are 1,000,000,000% okay with that. But being an elevated consciousness doesn't mean we don't live real lives of humanness, okay? So you can look forward to that. So if you, again, you haven't been here the whole time, you have something specific that you'd like to be coached on, a question either around money story or something else that you're like, I really feel like I need some insight on this. I'd like a reframe on how I see this because it's not working for me. Put a 1 in our chat here on Zoom, and we will coach you on that specific thing. As of this moment, there are no ones in the chat. So those of you that come on live, I'm assuming you're here for a reason. Let's hear some of them. We have a lot of people here. We've got, I don't even know, what's our total people on live? We have 14 people on live. I know if you're watching in the Facebook group, you can only see those that are live on camera. So anyone that doesn't have their camera on, it doesn't show. And so I like to mention sometimes like how many people we have here. Hey guys, money story. Anybody have stuff to be coached on your money story? Everyone's money is great. Everyone's money is flowing. You guys know, I have some clients on here and they're laughing because they're like, oh man, Robin always is like, oh, your whole money story is fine. Everything's flowing. What's interesting is sometimes, this is why I niched into Christianity. Sometimes we get into a money story that says, I should be grateful for what I have. Thereby, I will settle where I'm at. Thereby, I choose to continue this cycle of not being able to make different choices. Do you see how it's a choice? When it's so interesting because Jesus Christ said that he prepared everything for us. It's our agency to choose everything. So it's all prepared. You can have everything your brain says, I think I should be experiencing this thing. I really think I should be experiencing this thing. Why am I not seeing it in my reality? Like, what's going on here? Thoughts, questions? Did I blow your minds? If you have thoughts about what I said, put them in the chat. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Serena says, how do we separate that we want to choose money but not live that money is the root of all evil? Anyone else have that idea? Serena. Money is never evil. It's the human behind the money that makes choices that are evil. So money isn't the root of evil. It's the person. We definitely, as good people, get to choose money. Go study the parable of the talents. God said, I will give you this thing. You get to go invest and make more, because thereby you will be able to serve people, right? It's awesome. Good people with lots of money change the world. Latia, what do you got for us? She used the raise your hand feature.
I've always thought that if you have more money, then you're able to give in ways that others can't. Because even if you're not giving money, you are able to give your time because you're not working constantly to provide for just your necessities.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Can we talk about the common blocks to our flow of abundance and how to work on those? Christy, you get to come off mute, because
okay,
common blocks is kind of a big belief. Do you believe there's common blocks among everyone?
yeah, I do.
Okay, give us a couple or one.
For example, saying that, okay, I've bad things always happen to me. As soon as I get some money, something bad happens, and then that's a belief that I've moved out of, but it's one that I've seen seen show up in a lot of people around me, that bad things keep happening, and as soon as I save up, then I have to spend it. My car breaks down, something happens, or not even something physical, but something emotional, that I'm not deserving of good things because I haven't reached a level, or whatever story we're telling ourselves, that we don't deserve that same energetic compensation financially because it doesn't look the way we think it should look. So I've seen those more commonly.
Okay. So bad things happen to me. Like as soon as I save, I have to spend. Who else on this call has experienced this in their life? Beauty. So let's talk about this. Is this a money block? This is part of the story, right? One quote that I would love for everyone on this call to write down, because it matters, is how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you feel like bad things happen to you in your money, you also, in some capacity, maybe even unconsciously, you believe bad things happen to you with your kids. You believe bad things happen to you in your relationship. You believe bad things will happen to you in your faith. God doesn't answer my prayers. My husband is unsupportive. My kids get sick all the time. Do you see how that mindset that bad things happen to me doesn't just touch the money situation? It's never always one category. How you do anything, the story you're telling about something affects everything. So it's really beautiful. It's so awesome when a client becomes aware of just one piece, because when a client becomes aware of one piece of their story, they have thereby uncovered probably 7 other pieces of their life. That's why when we can work on the one, it starts to spill over into our other pieces. This is why setting goals can be really beautiful, because when you feel like you're in a slump or stuck and you set a goal that boosts your ambition a little bit, the brain goes, well, if we're going to achieve that, we're going to have to do this and this and this. All of a sudden, the brain's job is to be creative for us. It creates all these things for us to then, we have these choices of things we could do. Here's an example. I wanted to run a 5K. I do not identify as a runner. I know people that do. Latia is one of them. Like, I do not identify as a runner. This was years ago. And so I looked to a friend that was doing Ironman. And I said, can you help me to run a 5K? She said, yes. She pulled up on her phone a beautiful little thing that said, couch to 5K. It was great. Highly recommend. Go look it up. I followed the schedule. I ran a quarter mile one day and did this thing the next day. Like, I ran a 5K. And I did it in 34 minutes. And I was very proud of myself. No one in my family, extended or otherwise, had ever ran a 5K. We are that family. It's not a thing. We used to joke that nothing runs in our family except diarrhea. That is horrible. This is so bad. But it's just funny, okay? But we'd be like, nothing runs in our family. And like, I ran this 5K and my family was all over me about it. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Robin, what are you doing? It was so crazy. I was like, stop, leave me alone. But because I was leaving the familiar nest of that we don't run, I was getting a lot of pushback from this. You might get that when you start to make a goal that your husband's not comfortable with. The kids have never seen you do that before. Your mom doesn't understand it. You're like, I want to display, right? But I set this goal and I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I am going to do one hard thing in my life. Gosh dang it. So I got this couch to 5K and I started working on it. And I was like, oh, you have to like, this feeling that I get when I'm about a quarter of the mile of the way in, I'm feeling these stress in my calves. And so I talked to this lady that runs Ironmans, this is beauty. That's the power of mentorship, ladies. And I said, what do I do? And she clued into me. Oh, maybe it's your shoes. What kind of shoes are you using? I'm like, what? Runners have special shoes? I just thought tennis shoes were tennis shoes. I had no idea that there was like special running shoes. So she's like, go to this running shop and get fitted for running shoes based on your how you walk. And I'm like, what? There's like a science to this, you guys. So I go to the running store and I got these shoes and I ran in these shoes. And I was like, oh my gosh. I had the first idea that maybe I could like running. Like, oh my gosh, the shoes built my belief in myself. And all of a sudden I could run a mile. I was like, these shoes make me invincible. This is the best. And then I started running a mile and a half and I'm like, man, I'm like, I get this headache. What's going on with the headache? So I go to my mentor. What's going on with this headache? She's like, well, what's your nutrition like? I'm like, you know, I want to eat too. What? This goal was starting to touch my apparel and my food. And then I learned I had to think about my sleep. Guys, a 5K, if you're a runner, that's probably nothing. But when you're a beginner, it touched all these things. So I was like, oh, I started to become of my sleep cycle. I became aware of what I was eating. I started being aware of my hydration. Do you think any of those things affected my overall health? Do you think any of those things, all of a sudden I was very regimented. I'm like, no, I've got to get up at 5:45 because I'm going to eat this pre-thing. Then I go on my run and then I stretch. And like all of a sudden I was like being regimented in my life. That was spilling over my confidence in how I was creating my meal plans. It was spilling over into my confidence of how I was managing our money. It started spilling over. One area that I was getting regimented in because of a goal that was a little bit of a stretch for me, it spilled over. Because how you do anything was how you do everything. You see that? So if you have this block that's like, oh, bad things happen to me all the time, I'm like, do a little journal that says, where else in my life do I have a belief that says this doesn't ever work out for me? What is it? I remember I used to have a belief that my kids got sick a lot. Guess what happened to my children? They got sick a lot. I never thought that maybe I had more like influence over that story. My kids never get sick. Their immune systems are so strong. That belief shifted. My kids never get sick. Their immune systems are so strong. Subconsciously, I stopped buying junk food. Because I knew that junk food compromises the immune system. So by setting that new belief within me that my kids never get sick, they have strong immune systems, I also became more regimented in our bedtime, knowing that sleep was essential for strong immune systems. Like, do you see these thoughts? Like just shifting the thought started shifting my behavior. So what's beautiful, Christy, is we get to then journal on a different scenario. Good things happen to me all the time. I love how good things are showing up for me every time I look for them. When good things happen to me, I am so grateful. I take a moment to think, like really journal through, what does it look like for me to have good things happen to me all the time? What does it look like for me to always have a little extra spending money at the end of the month? Because that energy and thought allows that to become your awareness. And you will, it's almost like a colander. You'll start to see little behaviors start shifting out. There's a certain girl in social media that she's like, she might be in our group. If she's on, you can reveal yourself. If not, whatever. But she's talking about how she keeps getting in car wrecks. And I was like, man, I haven't been in a car wreck since I was like 17. And that was like in the high school parking lot. I mean, that's just part of high school, I think, right? Anyone else? And so I'm like, I'm pondering from a coach perspective, why would someone get in so many car wrecks like that? And I'm like, I don't think that it's just bad luck. There's something where when she's driving, is there a lack of presence there? She's thinking about this. She's thinking about that. I wonder if she also feels spread thin in her own goals, her own health, the way that she's listening to her kids. Like, where else is she maybe distracted? Where else? Because getting rear-ended 7 times says, okay, maybe I'm stopping too fast before the car in front of me. Maybe I need to slow down on the road and be the slow lady that nobody even wants to drive around. So no one's behind you to rear-end you. Sometimes people that get rear-ended a lot, if you look at the pattern of their life, they're hustlers. They're people that wait to the last minute to brake. It's interesting that this is a pattern because how you do everything, anything is how you do everything. So it's like, oh, if I'm getting in accidents all the time, where else in my life am I possibly like, doing this thing? You guys have like all these questions in the chat. This is so good. Christy, did that help with just this idea that there's common blocks? What are your thoughts? What's your main takeaway that you can share with us?
All right, let me just move from where I was at work. No, like I said, that's a block that I've been moving through and I had done a lot of work on emotionally. But I just thought, like, you know what? I'm sure there are other people on this call that have like, hey, what's stopping my abundance? And that's something I've been journaling through, like, okay, what thoughts am I having? That's like, I'm creating my reality, right? And what story do I want to tell myself about my money, about my abundance? And you and I have talked before that when I started to think about abundance as not just money, but as about an abundance of energy, an abundance of focus, an abundance of all these other things, abundance became a much bigger viewpoint than just cash flow.
Yes, that's beautiful. So good. Katie has her hand up. Can you unmute yourself?
I figured it out.
Yay!
Okay. Yay. Okay. So my question is, or could we talk about how do you incorporate budgeting and abundance? Because I want to say yes to everything, especially like the last few weeks as I've shifted my mindset to think there can be abundance. I find myself saying yes to everything. And I'm like, I need to also though have wisdom, because I don't truly want everything. My house would be full and chaotic and crazy. But with Christmas coming, I want to say yes to everything, but I also want to honor a budget that serves a purpose for a future that I'm hoping for. Does that make sense? So let's talk about that.
This is really, really good. I get a question a lot about how do I allow flow? How can I let go of expectations and yet have a path for myself? This is that same idea. How do I have abundance flow with money and believe that it's just coming? It feels like if I make a budget, I'm setting a limitation on that. Has anyone had that idea? Or can you see it? And I remember having a thought like that. And yet I have learned that if you guys are taking notes, you can draw this picture. There's a pillar that says, this is where I'm at. Another pillar says, this is what I would love to experience. Okay, we have these two things. Then there's a bridge of incidents that connects them. The bridge of incidents is where we want to hire someone that says, tell me how to get over there, right? The bridge of incidents. This is where faith comes into play. This is where we say, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. My mentor or my budgeting specialist or whatever has suggested this framework could get me there. So thereby, I have my first rungs on my bridge of incidents. I have somewhere to go. I have the jumping off point. I have when you start on a hike, you know you're going to get to the waterfall, but the hike might go like this. Okay, you have faith you're going to get to the waterfall, but how do you even know to begin? How do you even know? Somebody gets to give you an idea that, oh, there's this trail. Oh, there's actually a little arrow that will be like, go this way, but you don't see the whole path. I don't think I've ever been on a hike where you could see the entire hike. Nope, I take that back. There's a hike in Logan Canyon called the Wind Caves where you can see the switchbacks for the, the full miles or whatever you go up. But like, I'd say that's rare, where you can't really see the entire hike. In fact, some people won't even do that hike because they can see that it's switchbacks for a straight mile of like 1,000 elevation gain. They're like, I'm not doing that. But people that don't see the destination, they go on faith, right? You're exercising faith to believe that the other destination is possible. And possibly someone is coming down the trail that says, oh, yeah, watch out for that. Oh, yeah, you're almost there. Oh, yeah, you're probably going to want to bring some water. Oh, you're probably going to want these types of shoes, just like my mentor with the 5K. So when you're here, you want to get here, realize there's going to be an exercise of faith from the bridge of incidents to make the bridge of incidents unfold. However, we get to have that initial structure that says, here's your first step on the path. We illuminate that. It can be our budget. It could be a business plan. It could be your, however you budget your, your food. Maybe you have a food pantry, something. Maybe you have a chore chart for your kids. But isn't it an exercise of faith that the kids will actually do it? We can put a budget in place all day, but if we don't actually do it, here's what I love about a budget. You can't change what you don't know, right? You come into the program not knowing stuff. We start to help you witness it. You can't change what you don't know. So a budget goes, oh, this is where we are. This is my first pillar. This is where I'm at. A lot of people try to change their money and they don't even know where they're at. They try to go on the hike and they're not even at the hiking point. So the budget says, this is where I'm at with my money. This is what my numbers are. Okay, now I know I need to set my goal at 20,000. I need to set my goal at 400. Right? It lets you know in your human frame, this is where I'm going. But the idea of abundance says, my budget a year from now will look very different. I have full faith that on this bridge of incidents, money flow is going to shift for me. I have full faith of that. What's so interesting is some people limit that, saying, okay, I'm going to make $20,000 and that means I need 5 clients a month. Say it's an entrepreneur. And so thereby, they have now limited this bridge of incidents to 5 people a month. People limit themselves in their business goals or their home finance goals by saying like, it's only going to be this. So I like to coach people to say 5 clients a month or more, $20,000 or more. Always add that piece because that's the abundance coming in. That's the abundance mindset. Abundance doesn't just say money is just going to rain down from the sky and like abundance says, oh, it's already there. I'm aiming for that because it's already there. The budget says, I know where I'm jumping from. What are you guys' thoughts? Does anyone have a clarity they'd like to share? And do you see how this goes into how you do everything is how you do anything? If you don't have the budget for your money, you probably don't have a plan for your winning of the triathlon. If you don't have a budget for your money, you probably don't have set business hours and your business never turns off and you burn out. If you don't have a budget for your money, you probably don't have a good chore system in your house and your house is messy all the time. If you don't have a budget for your money, do you see? It's the lack of like, I don't think I want that. I'm feeling tethered somehow. But you can't go through the bridge of incidents for a different scenario without your first step. And some people feel very overwhelmed by the first step. Like, oh, that's going to be, ugh. And I'm like, yeah, there's always that first unsexy season. If you're going to lose weight and you want to take pictures to just see how your body changes, there's always that first picture that you're like, I'm witnessing where I'm at. It's so good mentally for most of us to be like, I'm witnessing where I'm at because I do get to know where I'm at to know what the next thing is. That's okay. A lot of people just prejudge it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know. That makes me feel bad. This makes me, right? But you realize that's a choice. When you say that makes me feel this way, take your agency back, take responsibility back. I choose to feel that way about this situation. Okay. Any clarity on the budget and abundance? I think Katie had to hop off. Anyone have thoughts on that? Makes sense? Thumbs up if it did. Yeah, Elizabeth. You can pace yourself and you can also, once you start on the race, just say, it's going to go how it goes, right? Like, let's go. Let it unfold. Let it be easy. Serena has her hand up.
Yeah, I would like to share a little bit about like the whole abundance thing and the budget. Like I'm not like, I don't feel like I've arrived 100% yet. I'm still working on it. But one of the things that I have like awesomely learned is the fact that it all goes back to our confidence as well. Because like if in our brain we're telling ourselves we're not worth it, it's never going to come to us. Like we can't attract what we don't even think we deserve. And so it's been interesting to like go through the steps, and budget is like number one step, and then goals are number two step because you got to know what you want. And so it's been interesting, like for me in my personal finances, and also I've been trying to like start a business. And at first it was like, yeah, I can do this, but I didn't even know like if I sold out, I didn't even know how much money that would be. And so I didn't know what goal I was even going for. I was just cool with whatever came. But as I've like set the goals, seen the picture, and just so you know, there will be lots of naysayers that may even tell you you're crazy, but it's a good kind of crazy because I have now envisioned and put that goal and seen what it looks like. And sure enough, like I had a market where everybody else was so mad because we were out literally at the end point of the market and nobody was coming over there. And I still made $500. And I was even shocked myself because I told my husband, he's like, it's raining. No one's going to come over here for you. And I go, it doesn't matter. I'm going to track this. I know I am. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to go against you with this. But I was so shocked whenever I actually had $500 that day at the end of the day. I was like, holy crap. Like, how did I do that? I was shocked with my own self. But because I envisioned it, I looked at what my sellout point would be. And it was ironic because what I looked at was not what I had like in my back stash, like in a basket underneath my table. And I only sold out what I envisioned. And I had like $200 under there. I'm sure that I could have made like $700 had I just counted that and taken that into like actually into account. But it starts with your self-confidence. So if anybody else is like a step before me, just know that you have to believe in yourself. And even if you have to get someone that's like your cheerleader in the meantime until you can believe in yourself, then do that because you need that. You need that positive that's going to say like God is blessing you. You're choosing this and he's okay with what you're choosing. I think the only limitation that I have now was like the comment that I asked about, so how do we make sure that we're not like, how is the the root of all evil, not like something that we're going for, right? If we're like, hey, we want to be rich, we want, to attract a whole bunch of money. So that's been something that I kind of wasn't 100% for sure on, but I really feel like it makes sense what Robin said. Like, if I'm still a good person, if I don't get unbalanced with being like money hungry, then I'm okay. And so it's okay to set that goal and say, I'm going to work for that. I'm not like going out and stealing money. I'm going to work for that. And I'm open to that abundance that's going to come my way. So just some comments that maybe somebody else could really use, because I know that I had to learn that the hard way and it was a hard struggle for me. So
Beautiful. There's a quote. I can't find it. Maybe I can. There's a book called The Divine Law of Compensation by Marianne Williamson. She talks about greed. And the way that she described it was one of the most beautiful and clear ways that I've heard greed versus like an intention to change the world. But it's interesting because even now, like so anyway, that book is really good. If you want to learn more about the spiritual aspect of money, someone's beautiful perspective on God's view of wealth and abundance and those kinds of things, that's a really great book. It's a really good book. Read it, mark it up. And I love Marianne Williamson. I think that she puts out some really, really beautiful thoughts on life. Is there another specific question in the chat? Heather says, I'm currently trying to let go of feeling limited in my choices because of money, or feeling like I have to make certain choices to do things I wouldn't have chosen to make money so I can do what I really want. Or feeling I have to make more money or get what I want to get what I want. The tendencies still linger. Ooh, separating your money mindset from your husband's money mindset. That's good. Beautiful, Elizabeth. Heather, do you want to come off mute and say any of this? I know we kind of coached on it a little bit. Is she here?
I'm here. Yeah. We don't have to talk about it. I just was putting it out there in case we had time and needed something to talk about. But I think I've shifted in this. Like when I first started, like in the program, it was okay, I have to get another job because I have to make money, because if I'm going to buy this house, the money has to come from somewhere, and it has to be me because my husband's limited in his job and the hours that he can work and whatever. And so that was kind of the mindset, like when I first started on my like money mindset journey. And along the way, it's come to like, yes, if we have goals, like we need more income, but I'm also more open to how that's like evolving and how it's showing up. My husband has switched jobs. I have like my job has evolved. But I still feel like sometimes there's that like scarcity when the bank account gets low, or I look at the budget and it's like, oh, we had enough for what we needed, but we didn't have as much for what I wanted to put towards this debt or whatever, because we had a medical bill come up that was unexpected, or, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I still feel those like thoughts like creeping in of like, oh no, if I'm going to reach my goal, I have to make more. I have to do, like it's that, just that like little devil on your shoulder where it's like creeps back in when things feel stressful, even though like the day before, the situation is the same. It's just like when it gets emotional, those little thoughts like creep in, and you just, it goes back to the way that I felt before. And I just have to keep reminding myself that like I'm doing the steps that I need to move forward, and things have shifted and have gotten better. And it's just kind of that like just reminder to myself often that like that it is a mindset, and that things are shifting and changing, and that it's all happening and it's going to be there. So I don't know. That was just kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I feel like that's where I started from. It was a very closed off, one track mind of like, I have to do everything to make what I want happen. And I've even shifted to, okay, I have this goal of buying a house, but I also recognize that like I need to take care of myself. So like I even invested in something that was bigger for myself this week that, for a while I went back and forth like, okay, do I do this? Do I spend the money on myself now to like help myself be healthy and live longer and, enjoy my time with my kids and feel good in my body and all of those things? Or do I save this money every month and put it towards my house, like, or whatever? And, it really came down to, I need to feel good about myself if I'm going to make all of these other things happen anyway. So I just kind of like Serena was mentioning, just like the confidence in myself and being willing to invest in myself as well as the things that I want in my life. So that's kind of where I'm at. If you had anything around that you wanted to share.
Oh, that's good. And that it illustrates kind of like we can start in this one place and then we move. Just the other day, our program is evolving and growing as it always will. And my brain had old thoughts come up but what's beautiful is I don't judge it. I see it as a message. It's like, oh, this old thought came up that was like, Robin, are you spreading yourself too thin? Robin, are you really going to be able to afford that? Robin, was that on your budget? Like these little thoughts that were like, and I'm like, oh yes, my ego wants to keep me safe. It wants to keep me safe. Yet the ego can only live here in my human body, having this experience in real time. And the ego doesn't go into spirit. It doesn't live in faith. So the ego is like, are we being safe? I'm having a little fit here because you're doing risky things. And I now know that my ego will always pop up, right? I now say, I love this phrase from Byron Katie. I now look forward. I now look forward. Once I face the reality, take responsibility for it, I'm like, oh, when I take risks, when I'm doing things that seem outside of what I have done, that's proven or whatever, I now look forward to my ego popping up and throwing a fit about it. It will come up to say, what are you doing? We haven't been on that hike before. Do you know what you're doing? It comes up and I'm like, okay, how do I help that? I don't judge it. I don't lean into it. But I go, I wonder if there are some questions that I could gain some clarity on and some confidence on here, yet I'm still going to move forward with my intuition. So I may book a one-on-one with a mentor. I may go read a book, but I still move forward with what my intuition and my soul and God put forth for me to do. I still do it. I just now know and look forward to my ego piping up from the back seat and being like, oh, excuse me, did you double check the map? And I'm just like, oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. So if you have old thoughts, sometimes old patterns, you can go, oh yeah, my ego wants to keep me safe. My ego is telling me that could be scary or that that's not right. And I go, well, Robin, what's your vision? What have you been affirming? Where are you going? If this choice aligns, then the ego gets to just go back in his bedroom and shut the door. Yet the ego can be so powerful where sometimes I look at it and I go, oh, this actually isn't in alignment. This is a shiny object. I wonder what I'm afraid of. And I can pinpoint when something is actually going to be out of alignment, when something's not going well, because it's not part of the mission. I'm like, oh, this is why clarity on where you're going is gold. Gold, because it becomes the gold standard by which you measure every other choice. And people are like, how do you not get caught up in like, oh, my kid wants dancing lessons, or my brother's getting married in Mexico, but that wasn't on our plan. I'm like, so you don't go. I know that some people might be like, what? And maybe that doesn't fit with your values. But for us, every January, our family sits down and says, this is what we're doing this year. We vote on it. We have a family council. This is what we're doing. Each kid will have their extracurricular activity. We're going on a cruise for Christmas. We're going to, and thereby I then have the bigger picture. My husband has the bigger picture of what we're doing. So we don't get caught up in maybe we should take that trip over there. Rarely does that happen. We don't have this emotional pull because we already know what we're doing. And thereby, in the last 10 years, we've traveled all over. We've done so many things that we never did before because we got caught up in, well, we got to do this, and we got to do this, and we got to do this, and we got to do this in the real time without the vision. It was all like right here. And so then we stayed right here. You see the trap people get in with doing, and I know that Jesus cautioned against instant gratification in that way. It's like, what's comfortable for me here versus, oh, that's actually where I was going. So that goes back to the power of the budget. Goes back to like, am I aware of where I'm starting? And am I aware of where I'm going? Like Serena beautifully illustrated for us. She was like, oh, I was super clear on $500. Too bad I wasn't really clear on 700. What? But then she learned that, right? She now goes forward, and her bridge of incidence in making $1,000 in a day on her goal, right? She's unfolding it. Do you see how it's unfolding for her? She doesn't judge it and get mad and then stay here at 250 a day. She just goes, oh, that's how I did 500. Okay, next time we'll do 7. And all of a sudden, $1,000 in one day is completely doable for her. And it wasn't like this huge superhuman effort where she had to go pay 500 in ads just to do 1,000 in a day. It's like, no, this is just what I'm doing now. I'm aware of it. So a lot of times our ego pipes up and says something. If we don't have a clear vision, we get stuck there. We're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. But if you know what you're doing, it's an easy no or an easy yes. It's like, oh, of course we want to do that. That totally matches with my vision. Of course I want to start that podcast because I said I was going to try to reach 100,000 people this year. Of course I'm going to do that thing. Do you see how it's easy to decide what to do when you know what you're doing? Clarity is king. Kim, do you want to talk about this for the last few minutes?
Well, what I was going to add to that, but I was like, Jesus, this is getting really long. I started reading the book Atomic Habits a while back, and I never got very far into it. But one of the things it talked about with money, and I don't know how much you think this is true, but people who always have the mindset to spend money, basically in a nutshell, what it said, people who love to spend money will never get very far in life. And that's been kind of just like sitting with me. And yeah, I guess I'm just like having a really hard time getting out of the cycle of, like, for example, I love to spend money on my house and I love to spend money on clothes. Like I love things that I love nice things, basically. But what I'm getting frustrated about is every year, every month, I'm just in that cycle where I'm like, if I could just get this, then I'll be happy. Well, if I could just get that table for that wall over there, then I'll be happy and I won't need to buy any more stuff for my house. I'm just constantly in that mindset. I just need this and then I'll be done. Or I just need this and then I'll be done. And I'm just, it seems like it's kind of an addiction, maybe. But I'm just frustrated with myself because it's like I know the things that I need to do, but I am addicted to spending money. Like I'm even addicted to driving to the gas station and getting an energy drink. Even when I don't even really want one. And so I tell myself, I'm like, you literally just are addicted to spending money. So yeah, I don't know if you have any advice on that or if anyone else has ever been through that.
I have. So, number one, this belief that people who love to spend don't go far in life, does that serve you? Thereby, I do not care what James Clear said, throw it out the window right now. Because guess what? What you hold on the screen of your mind is what is your reality. So if you keep thinking that, you're like, it's just stuck with me. I'm like, well, that's too bad. Like, get it out of there.
Yeah.
Get it out of there. But be aware that when we create a space, so you're like, I'm not thinking that anymore. You do get to put a new thought in because space wants to be filled. It's a vacuum. So if you're like, okay, I'm not thinking that anymore. That's why we do the contrast work, right? And we create a new affirmation. It's like, okay, what do I actually want to affirm? People that spend a lot of money are awesome. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's not, that may not be the one for you because you probably want to look at your values, because here's this other piece. Here's the other layer for you, Kim. If that stuck with you, I'm very curious why you don't want to go very far in life. Because you keep spending, you keep that thought. Why doesn't Kim want to go very far in life? That's the deeper belief that you're holding.
Yeah.
Do you think life's not going to go very far? Is life kind of a crummy pit at the moment? Thereby, I don't care if I go far in life, so I will keep spending. Do you see how that belief
Yeah.
is in a cycle?
And I think maybe also just the fact that we're in a phase of life where our budget is so maxed out because of like out of country college. We're like paying cash for it. So like our budget is so maxed out that I think deep down inside I'm like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. Like we're broke, so I might as well go get that energy drink, you know? I feel like that's kind of the mindset that I've been having.
Right. Do you see how it's reaffirming the belief?
Mm-hmm.
We can't go far in life anyway. And people that spend money don't go far in life. So I now align with that belief.
Yeah.
So I keep spending money.
Yep. That's exactly what it feels like.
So just having the awareness, right? Yay! Awareness is key. You now witnessed it. You're like, oh, why don't I want to go far in life? I have a belief we're not going far. Interesting. Interesting. That's where I love to journal. Are we moving forward in life? Where can I start to see evidence that things are moving forward? Because maybe this cash college experience is this person that's getting this education becoming different? Am I becoming different? I'm in this program. Am I progressing? Like really give your brain the evidence that this may not be true. Thereby we can dissolve the table legs holding up that belief and start getting it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Robin, can I share something?
Yeah.
So as she's talking about this, it sounds so much like me. And something that I've witnessed as my mind has started shifting is I think all those actions was my inner self trying to feel like my needs were being met. Like going to the gas station to get a drink isn't really that your body was craving the drink or even that you really just get a high off of spending money. I think it is a way of you saying to yourself, like, I want to take care of myself and meet my needs. And for me personally, I feel like I've been trapped in a very small world, but my spirit is so big. Like my spirit wants to do big things, but I've had constant walls around my mind that are like, you can't because you don't have enough money, or you can't because your husband doesn't agree with this, or you can't because, and so I think that, I don't know, I just have observed with myself that it was really just my big happy spirit that wants to live a big happy life feels squashed because I was repressing it and not letting it feel worthy or able to obtain what it wanted. And so anyways, I'm just saying this to maybe validate what you're feeling and maybe say it's not that anything's wrong with you, but maybe you don't feel like your needs, your true needs are being met.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because it kind of made me think about my childhood. Like my mom was the type of mom that like I always had to get hand-me-down clothes from like my cousins, and like we would only go shopping like once a year for school clothes, and she never spent money on the house. We never got to indulge in junk food or like just I don't know. Like I always look back at my childhood like I never got enough, or I never got as much as the other kids got. And so I kind of have always thought about my life like the way I spend money is because my my mom didn't give me everything that I wanted, I guess.
Yeah.
Or my mom was always very cheap with herself and she would never spend money on herself. So spending money on us kids was never a big thing unless my dad got like a big bonus or something. And so me and my husband are kind of in a better place financially than my family was when I was younger. And so I think I find myself just being like, well, I have the money. um, and so I just, yeah, I'm just being I indulge too much, maybe because of my childhood. I don't know.
Well, one thing to remember, here's a principle if you're taking notes, and this will be our last principle before we hop off this amazing call, is anytime you do something, you are seeking a feeling. It's a feeling you want. When I'm seeking a client, it's a feeling. What is that? What is it? When every time I get up to exercise, I'm seeking a feeling. Right. Every time I go to do anything, it's a feeling that I'm actually looking for. And learning to identify that is huge. It's huge, huge, huge. Like Katie beautifully was saying, she realized like, oh, I was looking for like a self-love moment or feeling like my need was met there. That's a feeling, right? It's probably something around security, personal trust. Like there's something there that I'm seeking. And a beautiful journaling that I've been able to do on a lot of those kinds of things is just say, how can I feel that now in this moment without going shopping and without the new client? Can I bring that to me now? Can I be happy today? Could I feel secure right now? What are all the evidences that tell me I'm secure? Am I safe in this moment when you're going out to buy clothes because your inner child is like, I have the money, I'm going to do it, gosh dang it. And it's like, am I feeling insecure somewhere? Am I actually okay? Am I okay right now? Is there tigers going to jump out of this clothes rack at me if I don't buy this shirt? Like, what's really going on here? Am I okay? Can I be okay right now? And practicing some of that, journaling through, like, what is it that I'm seeking? And can I actually have it right now? Can I choose it right now? Like, and that's been something that has not only proven to me that I can feel certain things as I choose them, but when I do that, it raises my vibration in the moment. And I have awarenesses of other choices I could make because I rose my awareness in the moment instead of waiting for it. after the side table, after the new outfit, that's like, I'm like, oh, that's like wasted energy and money almost in my belief system, right? I'm like, oh, like if I could have the feeling now, I have better ideas of what to do with my time and money that come to me when I have the feeling now. Like, oh, so that's something you can work on. I think that's something that takes a lot of practice, at least for me. There's a lot
Yeah.
of practicing that, being like, oh, can I have the feeling now when I think I want something? Like, and then there's other times where I'm like, no, that's the choice I'm making because I'm in the feeling already. That's a genuine choice from my heart that I'm making right here for this thing that I'm doing or whatever it is. And again, it kind of comes to clarity of like, do I have a place to go? If I could have the feeling now, is there something else that I'm going to, have the awareness of using it for?
Yeah.
We get there slowly, and
Yeah.
you're getting there. So
Thank
I
you.
love it. I love it so much.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful, friends. Beautiful. So if this was your first live coaching with us, you can go in the Elevated Mother Collective and share maybe a little thought about what it was like. Anything that was different that you didn't think it would be like. I don't know. Share with us your thoughts, your feedback, a reflection. Let us know if you loved it, what parts you loved the most. And we will see you guys next week in this group.